police department.
Yes, ma'am. My daughter is missing. Maybe if you have a wreck or what was going on, we can't find her. And kids are having a fit.
Okay, honey.
I'm trying to find Danielle Pruett.
Danielle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you know what she was wearing?
No, ma'am, I don't. I haven't seen her today.
Okay, and when was the last time you saw her?
I think she left the house somewhere around 3, maybe. 3:30.
And you didn't actually see her?
No, ma'am.
Okay, but her children did?
Yeah. I'm just a little bit nervous here. They supposed to be at ball practice and they can't find their mom.
Following the 911 call, the Tazewell County Sheriff's Office dispatches officers to the Pruett home to investigate the missing persons report of 29-year-old Danielle Pruett. Danielle had dropped her 3 children off at her mother's house earlier in the day and was expected to pick them up for baseball practice. Upon the officer's arrival at the scene, Officer Travis Hayton, a former classmate of the missing Danielle Pruett, is met by Danielle's mother Charlene, her twin sister Nikki, and Danielle's children, who sit anxiously on the couch waiting for their mother to return home.
So, what's she been doing today? Have y'all seen her at all?
I've not seen her at all. I had to work. I was supposed to be off. I was supposed to be off work today.
Okay.
My boss called me and asked me could I work, and I needed the money. So I called my sister and I asked. Well, she wasn't answering her phone, so I kept calling. Called Chris. Chris said she was asleep.
So, man.
So I told him that I needed him to get her up. It was almost 2 o'clock. I was mad that she was asleep. I said she was lazy. So he went and woke her up. I guess she got up then, and Savannah, a girl who lives with my sister, who's staying with my sister, whatever, said she heard Danny on the phone, and Danny said, meet me on the next street over.
From talking to Nikki, Officer Hayton has learned that Danielle lives with her ex-partner Chris and a friend called Savannah. Before the family called the authorities, they had contacted Savannah asking if she knew where Danielle was. Although she did not, she stated overhearing Danielle on the phone to an unknown individual telling them to meet her on the next street over. She then witnessed Danielle leaving the property and had not seen her since. Before Officer Hayton leaves to attend Danielle's, Chris's and Savannah's house, both Charlene and Nikki reiterate their concerns.
No, my sister.
Identical twins.
I have been her sister for 29 years. I've never been closer to anybody but her. She's not gonna leave her kids. It's not adding up.
We'll go over here to the house. I'll talk to them.
Can you please? I'll probably be bugging y'all, and I don't mean to, but
Y'all can bug it.
this is my twin sister, man, my daughter.
I'll go over there and see if they know anything else. So I'll give you a call back, alright?
Alright, thanks.
As Officer Hayton heads to Danielle's house, he remains optimistic to find Danielle, as statistics surrounding missing persons cases are usually resolved quickly and successfully.
Hey, man. Can we come in for a minute? I'll holler at you.
However, when they arrive, they find only Chris.
Where's the chick at? Savannah?
I ain't no boyfriend left.
Okay. We're trying to find Danny. Do you have any idea?
She left at 3 o'clock and I ain't seen her since.
3 o'clock? Where'd she go to? You have any idea?
I don't have no clue.
Due to Chris's abrupt and unhelpful behaviour, Officer Hayton asks for Chris's ID, as he suspects he might have warrants.
Did you have an ID on you, man?
What do you need my ID for?
I'll run you to see if you got any warrants on you, man.
Don't come up here to ask questions and now you want to interrogate me.
I'm not interrogating you. Can you get it out for me?
Can I just call that in?
Can you get it out
I'm
for
already
me?
aggravated enough because I've been trying to find her. I don't want to have no problems right now, so here, just take my number and stuff.
Why are you being an ass?
Because I'm pissed off at what the situation is.
Well, how you pissed off at me? I'm trying to find her. Baby, I'll be right back, alright? What do you say? No more.
With Chris not allowing the officers into the property, they are forced to leave. However, when Danielle has still not been found by the next morning, they return to the property with a search warrant.
Hold the stairs, Travis. Or no, hold the stairs. Jarvis, hold the stairs.
I'll hold it. You go that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got y'all. Great.
Huh? Open door left. Clear. Upstairs.
After completing the search, officers find no evidence of Danielle within the property. Just as worrisome, however, there is still no sign of Savannah, and now they are unable to locate Chris. As officers conclude their investigation of Danielle's house, they get word from her family that an unknown man has answered her phone claiming to have found it. Officers then attend the man's workplace and bring him in for questioning.
As far as I know, not any trouble. We just need to talk to him about the phone. Maybe a seat right there. Tell us about that cell phone that you found.
I just got off work. I came down exit 5 right there at Tazewell. And down, came across the phone, was on the
Where
bridge.
you came across the phone at?
Right there at the storage buildings. It was right there on the little bridge right there. It was laying right there face down. And I stopped, told my old lady, there's a phone out there, so I went back there and picked it up. The phone still worked, so the screen wouldn't work because it was busted. So I took it to the house, I had a pair of headphones that you can answer phone calls with. I put those in, answer the phone calls, until I get the phone back to the people.
You answered phone? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
It was.
And I got a hold of her mom, her sister. They said, where's Danielle at? And I told them, I said, I just found her phone. I'm trying to give it back to whoever it belongs to.
Since the man seemed sincere and there was no evidence linking him to Miss Pruett, the investigators let him go. On March the 18th, Officer Hayton revisits the Pruett household to update them on the case. Whilst there, the family receive an unexpected phone call from Danielle's ex-partner Chris, who the police have been trying to locate since the night of Danielle's disappearance. Chris tells the family that he has located Danielle's car at an auto body shop in Grant Park that sits on the edge of town. Officer Hayton immediately calls it in.
13 to 14. Go ahead. Hey, I just talked to this, her sister. The blue car is at Graham Rec Park. Can you head there? I'm heading there now.
While making his way to the scene, Officer Hayton feels suspicious about Chris's discovery, as he distinctly remembers passing the auto body shop the day prior and not spotting the car there. As officers arrive at the auto body shop, so do the Pruett family, making the scene challenging and chaotic.
This is the missing person, I told him not to touch it.
Y'all step back from the car, guys, please. Yeah, just actually just step back.
The guy in the hoodie, he popped the trunk just because he's seen all the blood here.
Raising more suspicion, detectives learn that Chris has tried forcing the boot open upon their arrival.
Okay. All right, hey,
25, 13,
did you look in something good?
What is it?
Yeah, it is too. Back them up in the car.
Get in your car, okay?
Officers find no trace of Danielle in the vehicle, but continue processing the car for evidence. Unfortunately, both the Pruett family and the officers feel that it might be too late to find Danielle alive.
When I heard Danielle's car had been discovered, I was hopeful they would find her there in time. My heart sank when Danielle was nowhere to be seen. The damage to her car, the blood on the back bumper, clarified that something was seriously wrong. And even though I remained desperately hopeful we would find Danielle alive, I felt like it was now too late.
As the news about Danielle's car spreads, more family members arrive at the scene, including a friend of Danielle's who the police would like to speak to, Danielle's roommate Savannah.
Tell me what you They said you overheard something last night. Come on around over here.
I'm hearing her on the phone. She's walking around the house, and I heard her say, "Meet me on the next street over." That's the last time I've heard her.
Savannah's account matches that of Nikki's. However, Savannah reveals some startling new details, telling officers that Danielle is involved in the buying and selling of to earn extra money and to provide a better future for her family.
The night before she came to me, she was like, "Savannah, she was like, I only have $400 now, because she had to pay $600 for her kids' baseball." So I'm thinking that they I guess cleats. She got 3 kids, cleats and baseball and basketball. I don't know. She told me that she only had $400 in her pocket.
I could give 2. She's sitting on 5 pounds of hair right now. We need to make sure she's okay.
She's not a bad person. She don't go to no club. She don't argue with nobody.
All I'm interested in right now is finding her.
But it's so crazy because from that street to here, like, what happened? I heard about the back of the car.
Like Officer Hayton, Savannah is also suspicious about the discovery of the car at the auto body shop.
Can I also add something? Even after she came up missing, we rode this street, and I never seen her car in there.
Due to Chris's evasive and unusual behaviour throughout the investigation, as well as being the one to find Danielle's car, the police bring him in for questioning.
All right, Chris, I know you know why we want to talk to you, right? You know why we're talking to you. Okay. Or can you tell me about Thursday, which is the day that she went missing?
Her sister called, so I woke her up and put her on speakerphone so they could talk.
What happened after that?
She finally woke up, and she made a few phone calls. The last thing she said to me is, I gotta run out for a minute and I'll be back.
Now, did she leave and come back and then go?
She didn't come back to the house. Not one time.
Anybody go with her?
No, but she's by herself.
Investigators then press Chris about discovering Danielle's car.
Next morning, I called Jess.
Who is she?
A girl that I've been messing with. She thought that she seen the car parked down there and she was driving it.
So she said she thought she seen Danielle's car on her way through to your house, right?
Mm-hmm. When she got there, at first I didn't believe her. I got my stuff on and got dressed, and I was like, well, let's go. And so we took off walking over there.
Was the car there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what'd you do then when you went over to the car?
Looked in the windows. I seen the trunk had a dent in it. I tried kicking the trunk open without touching it, because I wanted to make sure she wasn't in there.
The interviewing detective remains sceptical about Chris's story and begins asking questions that are more direct and confrontational.
And now I'm feeling like this has turned in from cooperation to interrogation, and I'm getting fairly aggravated.
Well, I hate it for you, my friend, because you got a lot of cloudy issues that I need to talk to you. You're not clearing anything
I
else.
found the door. I popped the trunk to make sure she wasn't in it. Seen blood on the back of it.
I'm not saying anything bad about that. But you come up with the attitude, don't come and give me attitude. I'm trying to get the answers here that we need to know.
This has been so trying on my mind. You don't understand. It's really broke my mind. I can barely function because all I think about is this.
Detectives have no solid evidence linking Chris to Danielle's disappearance, and after concluding the interview, they let him go. Back at the scene, officers conduct a systematic search of the surrounding rural area.
Everybody kind of watch where you're stepping. There she is, right here. Everybody stop.
Yeah.
I see the head right there. Pick the shortest end up. There's the foot right there.
After peeling back the blanket, officers confirm it to be Danielle Pruett.
Right back out. Everybody back out. Yeah. That's her.
I was afraid of that, but I still had high hopes.
If we can use flags to mark evidence, that would be great. Okay.
I'm just making a suggestion of working here out to where we first saw that first spot, and just kind of lick the blood, and that way we can mark them as we find them.
I knew it was going to come to this, just didn't know where.
From a quick scene examination, it appears that Danielle has died a very violent death, evidence from the injuries displayed on her head and face that was likely caused by blunt force trauma. Detectives then have the difficult task of informing the Pruett family of their discovery.
When they told us they had found Danielle, I was hopeful. But not long after, my whole world crumbled when he said that she didn't make it. It didn't feel real. I didn't want to believe it. Although you hear about these things happening, I didn't feel like it could happen to my family. I felt like I was in a nightmare, but I was going to wake up from. That day, I tasked me went with her.
As detectives continue their search for a suspect, a woman arrives at the station claiming to have more information about the investigation.
Hi there. Good to meet you.
The woman felt she had information about a gentleman who attended her and her friend's apartment on the night of Danielle's disappearance, who was acting strange and suspicious.
And this is on Friday evening?
Yeah, Friday evening. So he was
Are you
there
sure it was on
about
Friday
7
evening?
No. Wait a second. Was it Thursday, the day the girl went missing?
Mm-hmm.
Then it was Thursday at 7. He was there about 7. He left about 9 o'clock.
Okay. Was he by himself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You remember what he was wearing?
Blue jeans and a white tank top. And then he came to my house and she had told me that he was asking her if she had like a big shirt in her car that he could put on.
Did she give him one?
No, she said that she didn't probably have one that would fit him, but she said even if it was dirty. So he said that it didn't matter. So she never gave him one.
The woman tells the detectives that the man's name is Shawn Wakefield. She then states that Shawn also made a second request that caused her even more concern.
Well, that night when he was leaving, the last thing he said, if anybody asked, I was here at your house at 2 o'clock, since 2 o'clock. When he left, and that's the last thing he said. He said, if anybody asked, he said, I've been here at your house since 2 o'clock.
After concluding the interview, the officers arranged to drive the woman home. Whilst on the way home, the woman discloses important information that she had forgot to mention in the interview room. She states that Shawn had picked her up the morning after and drove her to run an errand.
So, tell me about it.
Okay, so it was before that, we was coming down the highway. So he looks in his rear view and he sees the cop. And it's like, it's a way distance. It wasn't bothering us. We was, it was way back there. So he starts tripping and he's like, I gotta get off the highway. And we had just turned, in the middle of the curve. And he's like, throw these out. And I was like, what? And, he just said, throw them out.
The woman here is referring to some of Shawn's clothes that she was ordered to throw out of the window.
Was they in a bag?
No, they was just balled up. I was just looking straight and he was driving and just reached in between his seats. So I'm guessing I didn't see anything in the back seat. So I'm guessing they might have been under his seat, under the back seat. And I didn't even know this girl was dead, didn't know, y'all hadn't even found her car yet. So I just thought, of course it was weird, but, I just threw him out. I wasn't thinking, at this time I didn't know I still don't know if he even did it. But I just threw him out.
Detectives immediately stop what they are doing and head to the site the clothes were disposed of, hoping that they will still be there. On arrival at the scene, they find Shawn's clothes on the edge of the highway, exactly where the woman had stated she threw them out at. The clothes recovered consisted of a pair of blue jeans, a dark grey zip-up hoodie and a white sock. On the clothes were some peculiar red stains that appeared to be dried blood, and the exhibits were immediately sent off for forensic testing. To locate Shawn as quickly as possible, detectives start to look into his background. Shawn Wakefield was a convicted criminal, with some of his convictions consisting of burglary, larceny, and possession of a firearm. He was currently on probation but had been arrested the day prior due to a probation violation and was sitting in the county jail. Detectives bring Shawn in for an interview, who is accompanied by his attorney.
What I was going to do is I'm going to ask you to, if you would, just kind of tell me about your day yesterday, the time you woke up. About what time did you wake up yesterday morning?
10.
What'd you do when you got up?
Went outside and started the car.
Went outside and started which car?
My truck.
Which truck is that?
2003 Yukon.
What color is that Yukon?
Tan.
You started it. Where did you end up going?
Went to Tim's Auto Repair, right on 460, to get a quote on some brakes.
Oh, what time were you there?
I would say about 11.
Did you stop anywhere else in between your house and Tim's?
No, I did not.
Initially, Shawn is able to give specific details about his timeline of events. However, large gaps within his story start to appear around the time detectives believe Danielle was murdered.
Then I went back to, I came back to Tazewell. That's when I came back to Tazewell.
Did you travel 460 all the way to Tazewell?
Yeah, 460.
Where'd you go from there?
Went to Tazewell Square.
Okay. Where'd you go up there?
Sitting up there with a friend of mine. And her and I was kicking it on the parking lot. And then the girl that I went...
Female friend?
Yeah, female.
You don't want to say her name? Okay. About what time would you say that was when you left out of there?
It was probably around close to 3.
So, after you leave Tazewell Square, where do you go?
I go home.
You go straight home? Don't stop anywhere?
Not believing Shawn to be telling the truth, displaying signs of aloofness and deception, the detective eventually calls Shawn out about his dishonesty.
I'm sure you've heard that old adage, honesty is the best policy, right? So, my question to you is, when are you going to be honest and start giving me the truth about what's going on? Because, quite honestly, you're leaving stuff out. You're leaving big gaps here. I mean,
At this point, I'm still with you all.
However, as soon as the detective starts to question Shawn more specifically, the interview is cut off by his lawyer. After the interview, detectives begin analysing Shawn's timeline of events. Due to Shawn's probation requirements, he has been wearing an ankle monitor, allowing detectives to retrieve a map of his GPS coordinates on the day that Danielle was killed. Within the data, officers notice a peculiar area that Shawn had visited. Although a rural location, construction was taking place in the land nearby, and an officer was dispatched to the grounds to recover surveillance footage from the site.
Copy, 832.
What's that, man?
Morning, sir.
Pretty good. My hands are dirty.
Don't worry about it.
What happened, or can you say?
I can't really tell you much. I'm looking for a vehicle or anybody walking.
All right. Yeah, I think you're right quick.
Same old, same old.
3:17. 2 o'clock.
If y'all don't mind, I'll sit here and click it. I'll let y'all do. That way I don't take up y'all's time.
And what you think, man, we'll help.
Hey, we appreciate it greatly.
The officer downloads the footage onto a USB to review at the station.
Got her done, brother.
Oh, got it done? Good.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay.
Back at the station, officers upload the data. Upon viewing the footage, Danielle's vehicle can be seen pulling in. And then we see Shawn's vehicle pull in shortly after. Danielle comes into view on the video, and then there's a sudden movement away, appearing as though she is pulled back in a jerking motion. A while later, Shawn's vehicle is seen driving away. However, a few minutes later, he is seen returning on foot. And then we see Danielle's vehicle leave shortly after. Detectives continue to follow Shawn's GPS locations and recover surveillance footage from nearby businesses, residents, and traffic cameras. After reviewing hours of footage, they get a hit on Danielle's car with a clear view of the driver, Shawn Wakefield. Although strong circumstantial evidence, it may not be enough for a conviction at trial. However, Shortly after, detectives received the results conducted from the clothing found on the highway. The results showed that the clothing contained DNA from both Shawn and Danielle. With this new information, detectives bring Shawn in for a second interview and confront him about the inconsistencies within his story, hoping to get him to confess to Danielle's murder. Quickly into the interview, Shawn admits contacting Danielle to buy drugs on the day that she disappeared.
Had you bought drugs from Danielle before?
Yeah, previous occasions, yeah.
You know what time you called Danielle?
I called her at 3:15 and told her, you know, buddy of mine's trying to get some. When we got up there to the area, I called her, I said, look, do you want me to come to your house? And she said, no, meet me on the next street over by the graveyard. Like,
now, did you actually meet her?
No, I never seen her.
Shawn states that he did not see Danielle, as detectives have not told him about the surveillance footage they have of him.
Do you know where Danielle is right now?
No, I do not.
Did you have anything to do with her disappearance?
No, I do not.
Have you put your hands on Danielle with the intent to cause bodily harm?
No.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay.
Detectives then conclude the interview and charge Shawn with the first-degree murder of Danielle Pruett.
All right, you come with me.
2 years after the murder and faced with the evidence, 35-year-old Shawn Wakefield pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 57 years in prison. Although Shawn never spoke about his motive, detectives believe he went to rob Miss Pruett. When Danielle put up a struggle and fought back, Shawn went into a fit of rage and murdered her. Just a year after his sentence, Shawn Wakefield would die in prison in November 2019. The Tazewell County Sheriff reported that Shawn died from an illness, although the exact cause of death has not been released for public knowledge. On March the 25th, 2016, Danielle was honoured in her final resting place, with her obituary reflecting her unwavering devotion to her 3 children. She was a beloved daughter, mother, sister, aunt and friend, and she will be dearly missed by all those who had the privilege of knowing her.